you wake up thinking about what happens after you die. Maybe a box, maybe ash, maybe a quiet plot of earth. But high on the Tibetan Plateau, your ancestors chose none of these. They chose the sky. For thousands of years, when a person died, their body was carried to a windswept mountain ledge. It was cut into pieces, and it was left for vultures. This wasn't neglect. It was devotion. Anthropologist Ernst Schaefer, who documented Tibetan funerary customs during his 1930s expeditions, described the practice as a precise, almost ceremonial act carried out by trained specialists called Ragyapas, or body breakers. Why would anyone do this to someone they loved? The answer starts with the ground itself. Much of the Tibetan Plateau sits above the tree line, on rock too hard and soil too shallow to dig a grave. Wood for cremation was scarce at high altitude, and burial risked exposing the body to scavengers anyway. So your ancestors adapted. They stopped fighting the landscape and started working with it. But there's a deeper layer here, one rooted in belief rather than geography. In Tibetan Buddhism, the body is not the person. It's an empty vessel, discarded the moment consciousness moves on. Religious historian Donald Lopez has written extensively on how this doctrine reshaped death itself, turning the corpse into something closer to compost than a container for the soul. So offering the body to vultures wasn't grim. It was the final act of generosity. One last gift of a life that no longer needed a body, given back to a mountain that gave nothing easily. The vultures themselves were not seen as predators. They were seen as dakinis, sky dancers, spiritual beings who carried the deceased directly into the next life. Watching a body vanish within an hour, lifted piece by piece into open sky, was not witnessing an ending. It was witnessing a transformation, immediate and visible in a way no burial could ever offer. Here's the part that should stop you. This practice didn't fade because people stopped believing in it. In many high-altitude villages, it's still performed today. Vulture populations have simply started declining, and with them, the tradition that depended on their hunger. Think about what that means. A ritual older than most religions, shaped by rock, altitude, and a bird's appetite, may end not because humans changed their minds, but because the sky ran out of scavengers. You bury your grief in soft ground and call it peace. Your ancestors handed grief to the wind and called it release. Both are ways of saying the same impossible thing, that a body, once it's done being lived in, has to go somewhere. Yours will go into earth,